No One Likes Us Clothing is the Millwall clothing range. T-shirts, caps, polos, they've got it all. Visit www.noonelikes.us.co.uk, or why not visit the Blue Anchor, where a selection of shirts can be bought at the bar. www.noonelikes.us.co.uk.
Hi, I'm Gary Rowett, and you're listening to the world famous Achtung Millwall.
Yes, indeed, listeners. The Rowett Express is rolling again. It's back on the tracks. Joining me is our ticket collector, Mr. Harry Warren. How are you, H?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I've been around. I've collected the tickets, and they say one-way return, Wembley. That's what they say.
What a result, listeners. Millwall go to Preston in probably the most unexpected win of the season, perhaps. I don't know. Pull off a 4-2 win up there, Harry. I mean, it was an entertaining game. Topsy-turvy was my notes to myself here. I mean, individual brilliance mixed with some sloppy defending and sloppy passing, teamed with real hard work and effort. It's a curious mixture today, I found.
I mean, that's the reason we like football. I mean, that was a stressful an afternoon watch, as you can imagine. At 2-2, I was called the air turned blue. But yeah, it was Millwall in a nutshell, really.
It was.
If you had said we were going to score 4 goals, I'd have laughed at you. If you had said we were going to score 4 goals away from home, I'd have laughed at you and all. Just really weird. That's just a really weird result, isn't it? It's really weird. But you take 3 points all day long. It didn't. If you'd said just generally on the pattern of play and everything, that's not a 4-2 win. It doesn't feel like it deserves to be a 4-2 win, but it is. You know,
it is. I mean, I do believe you get what you deserve in football. I know what you mean by that, because I mean, just to follow through that madcap first half. I mean, we had a team, a couple of changes. Murray Wallace returning with Andreas Vogelsammer up front, Scott Malone and Tyler Bury on the bench. Otherwise, it was Jules Long. We'll come back to Jules Long later, Harry. And we've got Murray Wallace, obviously, Cooper, Cresswell, McNamara, Billy Mitch, Jules Saville in the 2. And then in front of them, Vogelsammer, Fleming, star of the show by some distance today, and George Honeyman. We'll talk about him a little bit. And Tom Bradshaw, the ever hard-working Bradshaw up front. I mean, no, I wouldn't have said that's a 4-goal side, but you know, that's the way football works.
When have we got a 4-goal side? What players would need for a 4-goal Millwall team?
What drugs have the NHS put me on? You'd have asked if I'd have said that's a team that's going to score 4 away from home, but that's what we've done. I mean, I'm trying to come up with a nutshell. We're recording this, listeners, right after the final whistle. It can be sometimes quite hard to come up with a pithy summary, but I mean, the best I can put it is an individual brilliance, and by that I'm meaning Zian Fleming, by some distance our standout player in terms of control, vision, ability, you name it. The boy is star quality, in my opinion. How do you see him?
I see him not at Millwall next year. That's how I see him.
Name the price. How much are we selling him for?
Well, I'm trying to base what I'd expect us to get for him and Millwall realism. So what I'd expect anyone else to get for him is probably, I don't know. I mean, it depends. Look, let's talk about fucking valuations at the end of the season. Hopefully, we don't need to, because hopefully.
Well, let's keep it to the game, because I mean, we're joking in that. We'll see. I mean, the boy is a star.
What is it? 8 in 20, right? So 8 in 20 from midfield. So he's scoring in average just under every other game. Admittedly, he's got 3 today. It's not just the fact that we bought him for 1.7 million. It's the fact that he's not. It's not like a Jeb Wallace where he has to play well for us to win. Because I mean, he's obviously played well today and we have won. But because of the role he plays is different, because he's like just in the middle of everything, you get to see his football intelligence more. Like he just is a set, and he's not the quickest. I've said this before. He's not the quickest. He's not the tallest. But he's got enough of all the attributes together that make him such a good player. Like the strength for the first goal, not only the strength for the first goal, the touch for the first goal, for the initial touch that bounces up off the turf, and basically he takes the ball out of the air at head height with his foot, backs into the defender, as a little with his right foot, rolls it like a back heel, then flicks it out and then turns and basically beats the keeper with pace and power. And how many times over the last 10, 20 years have Millwall really had a striker back to goal that can turn and finish like that? You're looking at a Kane on loan, a Chris Wood on loan, maybe in their pomp, a Sadler or a Harris. You're not looking many times that Millwall get that. And when we do get him, we tend to have quite good sides. And the third, I can't talk about anything else. The third goal is ridiculously good. And I've not even got to the finish yet. Billy Mitchell in the midfield for that, wins the ball, sprays the ball out wide to Danny Mack, who's had a terrible game crossing till that point.
He had an awful game, but he redeemed it all with that move, I mean, we're missing out the second goal. I mean, the first goal came very early on, 1-0, 3 minutes in. I timed it, taken turn, as Harris said. We dodged a bit of a bullet because Jules Long made a good save, actually, on 10. It was an open game at that point, Harry, wasn't it? I mean, he made a decent save from I think it was a pretty close header inside the 6-yard box, but straight at him, thankfully. But then we've gone 2-0 up with that was the free kick, wasn't it? That was the central free kick.
Yeah, Bradshaw beat his man, lovely little turn, and was about to pull the trigger, and he pulled him down. I mean, the referee booked him. It's all he could do. It's kind of lucky he had two defenders near him in the ref's eye line. Otherwise, he could have been gone. And we scored from a free kick. I mean, it takes a deflection. I don't know if it's going in or it's going wide, but he's hit it low and hard. Like he's made his decision. He's going to strike it low and hard and try and beat the goalkeeper for pace. It's got a deflection. It's gone in. It's 2-0. It's it looked like it was going to be a comfortable afternoon at that point, but years of
in inimitable Millwall style, it wasn't. Was it?
Told me that this is not going to happen.
It was not going to happen. So there we are, sitting pretty, 2-0 up on 15 minutes. I think Saville drew a yellow shortly after that. And then there was a very sloppy goal conceded on 19. I thought it was sloppy. Poor defending. I mean, the ball, it was from a corner, right-sided corner, scrambled in the midst of a melee where I think George Long was claiming handball. But it looked like his hand. It was the last one before it went in the net to me. I don't know what the handball shout was all about. It was just poor defending. It's a very odd mixture to be praising on the one hand, brilliance, H, and then Sunday afternoon defending on the other.
Yeah, they're good at set pieces as well. But you've got for the first one, Long's like involved with his own defender and one Preston player in front of him blocking him off. You've got to expect that. And he gets too involved with that. He's pushing when really, if he's not there doing that, he can move across them and make the save. And he seems to, as you said, it's basically a header back across from the byline almost. And it hits George Long on the underside of his right arm and goes in. And, okay, sometimes you say, okay, that's fine. Everyone gets one. Everyone makes mistakes. They just show up more when you're in goal. But it wasn't a good look. And with what we're about to discuss, it's a terrible look, really.
Well, it's not a great look because, I mean, just 27 minutes, we get clawed back to 2 each from, again, I thought, poor defending. Free header, that was Ched Evans, wasn't it? The Preston strike, I think, who had a free header from across. I mean, I've got question marks against Murray Wallace, Jules Honeyman, and Jules Long there because I think they all combined to not do enough, giving a decent player a free header, and he put it away well for 2 each. And I must admit, at that point, my heart sank, didn't yours?
Yeah, I couldn't see us winning from 2-2. I thought we'd have the stuffing knocked out of us. I mean, yeah, it's a free cross. We've let them cross the ball in. We've let a man go unmarked to the back post again.
Yeah.
but it's not the greatest header in the world. And
It's on target. I think that's the way.
I think that's the nicest thing you could say about it. It was on target. It wasn't a bullet header. It had no pace or power.
It was a loopy on target header. It kind of had that kind.
Yeah.
I'm gesturing a loop on
from where it came, and Jules Long is following the ball from his right side across to the left-hand side, and basically for reasons that only players like Jordan Archer can answer, you basically don't dive. And I don't understand, why do keepers do that? I'm interested. I mean, I'm sure there are people who've played in goal that can answer me why you don't go, because I think that when you do that, I'll collapse into the net one. It makes that looks worse. Stand there, don't do nothing, but don't collapse like in a heap. You look stupid. You do. You just, you can't really sort of half, and he sort of half goes down. He doesn't spring, doesn't do anything. It just looks stupid. I think the difference with him and Bart, and this is the thing, other than their kicking, is that I'd have expected Bart to pull off a miracle save there. That's the difference. I'd have expected.
You'd normally back Bart in those situations. Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Kind of stuff that Bart makes look routine. So maybe that is a difficult save. But over the last 5 years, I've come to just assume that will be saved by the Poling goal and we'll be fine. But it obviously Long's got.
Not today, we weren't. No, I mean, 2 each. To give up a 2-goal lead at this level is always going to be poor. I mean, it was an open game, and I thought Preston did move the ball reasonably quickly, but we gave them the opportunities, and I think that's what really hurt me on for both goals, really, because both can be put down to poor defending. And then we really were up against it towards, as the first half closed, Age. I mean, as I think you just said, you couldn't see us winning from there. And I must admit, I thought if we can get to half time without conceding, we'd have done well. And they did have chances. A header inches wide. I think that was again from Evans. 39 minutes. There was a header that just went like the fraction of inches going past the post, and it looked like for all the world we were going to concede there. So we did well to get it to 2-2 by half time. Mm-hmm. And started off the second half in like measure, didn't we? I mean, we were up against it as the second half opened. So, it's been a strange game, the way it finished to where we were at certain points in the course of that match.
Yeah, I mean, first 5-10 minutes of the second half, we looked just as bad as the last 5.
We're clinging on for grim death.
First half. So, like, you're looking near enough a third of that game, we have looked awful. I mean, credit has to go to one squad, because to be 2-0 up on that high, to drop to being 2-2 and then coming back to win is the character of a Millwall side.
Absolutely.
That we would like to be there. I'm going to give Gary Rowett some praise, Claxon. So
I need a jingle for this moment. This is the praise meter for Gary Rowett. I think you're going to say what I think you're going to say, which is the substitution and change of formation, H?
Yeah, I mean, it's a change of formation, which he had to do, but he did it. So I'll give him grudging praise. But the fact that he played Honeyman there is, I mean, to accept your mistake, I suppose, shows maturity and good management skills. But George Honeyman is not a wide man and should not be played there. And he was found out there. It's like a terrier running around, sort of aimlessly, like a toddler almost out there. We looked
wide open prior to that change, and then after that we looked a lot tighter and a lot more controlled. And as time would tell, we'd press on and win it. But I think you're right. I mean, Gary Rowett will get slated when he gets it wrong, and I think you're right. I mean, it'll behoves anyone not to give credit where it's due. Because I think that change which he had to make was made, and therefore the game changed. Because I think that was the crucial turning point. That moment in the second half.
I think Malone, Murray Wallace down that left-hand side give you solidity. Malone playing as a sort of wing-backy, tuck-in left midfielder really suits him now, because he can't get back. We know he can't get back because it's the wrong side of 30, and it's starting to catch up with him playing 2 games a week. So if he plays 1 game a week or half a game a week, he's all right, and he gives you everything he's got. You can't, I mean, earlier on in his career, that wouldn't have been the case, but I do generally think he is now a good, honest professional that he's trying his best, but he's kind of his game is very much based on his fitness and his ability to outrun his opponent. And I can understand why Gary Rowett sometimes doesn't choose to pick him, but I think when Malone is good, he's very, very good, and when he's bad, he's awful. And I think when he came on, he was quite good.
Certainly changed it for us, didn't he? I mean,
the thing is as well, he I don't know what it is, but he always seems to find a player inside of him with a nice, the way he passes the ball gives the person receiving it half a chance. So for the third goal,
yeah,
I think Malone's got the ball, and Malone gives it into Billy Mitchell for Billy Mitchell to start the move. And it's just, it was nice, you know. That's the midfield two you want to see as well, just touching on, because I think they don't get enough praise. Mitchell and Saville in the midfield together are
both did well today. I mean, that was a great ball forward from Billy, and he's I think he's a player that's really come on. It's great to see. He's one of our own players, as the song says. But there's a tremendous ball through. I think it was Danny Mack, Harry, when it put the final cross in. But it was a great ball to find him from Billy.
I mean, the first goal we kind of brushed over that. It was Bradshaw rolling the ball up, working well off bits and pieces, spraying it out to Vogelslager to cross it in for Fleming. This goal is the same as well. You'll all see the finish, and it'll be on the highlights package and show what a great,
superb finish.
What a great bit of business Millwall have done, 1.7 million, show the finishes, whatever, but they won't show how good the build-up is, maybe.
No.
The fact that, I mean, Danny Mack beats him for pace, gets into the box, and then he's taken the way Harry crosses that ball. It's so many times Danny McNamara would have put that into either the side netting near side, or it would have been too cut back too far and it's gone behind everyone getting in. And it's just the perfect ball. But from that minute that ball's come across there, the Preston defender knows that he's 9 times out of 10, or maybe even more than that, 9.9 times out of 10 in this division, the striker first times that towards goal. And most players would. Zion Fleming decides, I'm not going to do that. Takes it right foot to left foot and then slots. And while he's on it, while the defender that's tried to stop it is on his arse trying to block a ball that hasn't come. And that is the simple difference between being a Championship team and being a Premier League team. And say it very, very quietly, that was Premier League finishing. That was Premier League.
Top quality. I mean, we've watched it on screen today. I'm hoping to speak to John later, who was at the game. I don't know how much of a view he got of it, but it was superb. It would lift you out of your seat. You'll all see it on the YouTube highlights, listeners. You tell me what you think. I think that you're right, Harry. I think that's Premier League quality, top flight stuff. For a hat trick, and that's our second hat trick of the season now, after Tom Bradshaw versus Watford.
I think Nottingham Forest fans comparing Zion Fleming to Jesse Lingard's input, with Jesse Lingard on a 6-figure contract, might be slightly pissed off that they didn't go for Zion Fleming.
They're going to have to put their hand in their pocket. I do hope that John Berylson and Steve Kavanagh have got like an escape clause, an expensive escape clause for Zion.
They've got 10 goals from sort of centre attacking midfield, like a cam roll in the year that we nearly got promoted under Harris. So what we're talking, football's gone on. Inflation 20% at least. So, we're taking the piss. If he gets 10, 15 goals from midfield in this division, he will get a move to the Premier League.
Well, he's only got to get 2 more. He's on 8 goals. He's our top scorer at the moment. Just looking at the BBC.
So you're looking at 15 mil. I mean, a return of 13 mil in 1 year for Millwall is ridiculous. That's next season and probably the seasons after transfer budget.
This is a Millwall conversation. We're talking about flogging the boy when we're actually sitting in 6th spot at the moment, Harry. So,
Nick, look,
get real.
Let's have a plan if he's here and we get promoted, and let's have a plan if he's here and we don't get promoted. The plan if we don't get promoted is we must sell him, unfortunately, because if not,
the realism of it all.
We get into this circle. Everybody's probably should have left for money. Yes, I know we don't like selling people, but we are a small.
No. It's going to be how it works out. Let's talk about the 4th goal. We've gone 3-2 there. Well, that's superb. I can't say superb enough, listeners, for that Fleming goal.
You've seen since Gary Alexander at Wembley.
That's right.
I mean, I'm trying to think of a better finish.
No,
I'm
finish.
struggling.
And it's the intelligence required to do what he did there, Harry. As you say, he shifted from the ball from one to the other, took out the defender, and slotted it away for a hat trick. Wonderful stuff. But the fourth goal was an excellent play as well. I mean, that was a free kick. Was it Vogelsammer who put it in from the
corner? We took a short corner, which normally everyone in the entire ground for Millwall goes, ah! And it actually worked for once.
It worked.
Bradshaw flicked it to the back post.
Flick on from Tom from Bradders. I'm gonna get into Gary Rowett speak now, listeners. Get Bradders, and there's I don't know what Cresswell's nickname is. Calamity Cresswell. He did well today, I thought. I mean,
apart from the fucking one where he just literally gave it to him in midfield.
He did do that. Yeah, he did do that. Great finish, 4-2, and that was largely it. There was no more. The one shot from Preston over the bar, and that was largely it. I can only sum it all up, Harry, as this kind of weird mixture of individual brilliance and hard teamwork combined with some pretty sloppy work other side of the coin at times. It's a very curious mixture of a game, but it is a result, as we've said, that puts us in that magic sixth spot as we go into the World Cup break.
End the season now. Blackburn versus Millwall, and Norwich versus who's the other team in the play?
Norwich Watford. At the moment, top of the table is Sheffield United after today's results. Burnley also on 38 points, second. Then you got Blackburn 36, Watford 33, Norwich 32, and then Millwall heading a bunch of teams on 31. So we're
to be fair, if we ended the season now, I think the FA would be quite happy with the two that have already gone up. They'd only have to rig really 2 playoff games to make
to keep us out. There we are. Great result. Must have been wonderful to be there. And hats off. I think they said 700 went up there, H, on the.
And now they're struggling. Now they're struggling to get back. Apparently, they've cancelled all their trains home.
Train problems. Yeah.
Very nice.
Let's hope they can get back. I'm hoping to speak to John, our Northern correspondents, in a bit.
I'm hoping
wonderful stuff.
When they give you sort of the rail replacement services, I'm hoping they've given them one of them, and there's just 2 sort of Preston fans who have gone up for the day from somewhere, live down here or something, and they've got to put up with a load of pissed up Millwall fans celebrating the fact they've won 4-2 away from home. And it's look, hats off to every single person that's gone to the 2 away wins. Because
hats off to the team, hats off to the crowd, the fans that went there, hats off to Zian Fleming, hats off to the entire team, because that was everyone earned that win today. And it's easy to dwell on the downside of it, but that's a great result.
Speak me off and go to away games again, Nick. Fucking win.
It might lure me. You might lure me away from my screen.
No, like dangling this carrot of form away from home that we might have half a chance. Like the optimist in you, it's horrible because this feels. The break, like that's a massive result because it will be in the changing room. Everyone in that changing room now is absolutely buzzing. They're going
to be wired, absolutely. Yeah,
right. They're all going. Oh, I really want a game Tuesday, or I want a game next Saturday. Can't wait. Oh yeah, fuck, we ain't got a game for 4 weeks. And you go, this feels a bit COVID-y. It's not great. It reminds me so much of beating Forest 3-0 on the telly. It's fucking shit, isn't it? Yeah, I said this back at the start of the season. You remember when I turned around and said, if we start fast, this season's going to fuck us? And it's the one time.
Yeah. One time on a roll. There we are. We come back after the World Cup. Part of the World Cup. I think the World Cup is entirely over by the time we come back. It's
pretty weird.
It's very odd.
Is this true?
It does have a COVID feeling. Sorry, mate.
We've got a game when the World Cup final's on. Is this true?
Luton, the Luton fixture, which is the week after, is that the 10th of December? I think.
So if Bradshaw had to go to the World Cup with Wales, right, we'd have had to play that game without Bradshaw.
It's not the 10th. We're at home to Wigan on the 10th. We've got Sunderland on the 3rd. Originally, we were due to come back on the 10th, which is Wigan at the Den. And then we go to Kenilworth Road on Sunday, the 18th. That's a 12 o'clock kickoff. That'll be a live game. And I think the World Cup final is later that day. I don't know what time that kicks off. I think it's in the afternoon. Did I read someone said it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, which will make it pretty tight. If you're going to go to the game and then want to see the World Cup final.
Well, Sky just turn around and say we'll make a one-off thing. We'll kick off at 11, so everyone can get back to the World Cup final. It's not that far for Millwall to go. I'm assuming Millwall will stay overnight the night before anyway. I'm assuming.
For that early kickoff, I would presume. 12 o'clock start. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Like, move. No one needs to see goals on Sunday that much on Sky. Just change the fucking TV time. It's your channel. You've got 8 of them. Pick a side. Put it on something else. No one needs a repeat of Premier League years.
Absolutely not. Good stuff, H. I'm going to let you crack on, mate. You got a night out. Really appreciate you coming on after the game. Hopefully, after the break, we'll be talking to John Shipman, who was at the Deepdale this afternoon.
Achtung, Millwall.
Achtung, Christmas is a-coming, dear listeners. And to quote Richard Chaplow, 26 appearances, 9 subs, 1 goal. As he once said, you cannot beat a good board game. And we've got a good board game for you here. Achtung has teamed up with a tremendous football trivial pursuit style game called Pundit. You can follow Pundit at Pundit Games on Twitter. And it's a really nice little game, actually. It's a board game. It consists of football trivia questions, easy and hard. Some of the hard ones are very, very hard. And you move along a football pitch to score goals against your opponent. It will suit the football head in your life, dear listeners. Great way to pass a Christmas afternoon. You can get a 10% discount if you visit punditgames.co.uk. That's PUNDITGAMES, punditgames.co.uk. Get a 10% discount at checkout with the code LIONS in capital letters. LIONS, capital letters. And every sale will benefit the Lions Food Hub. What a better way to pass your Christmas than to enjoy a good football trivia game and to know you're doing good at the same time. So get on it. punditgames.co.uk.
Achtung, Millwall.
Welcome back after the break, and it is a big welcome to the show. Not been on for a long while, but it's our Northern correspondent, Mr. John Shipman. How are you, John?
Hi, Nick. Evening all.
Good result there today, mate. That looked like some place to be at today, Deepdale. A bit of a mixture of good and bad and ugly, but the result was everything there today.
Yeah, I've had worse afternoons, Nick. It did dawn on me that covering these occasional Northern games for you. We rarely talk after a win, so
No, we don't.
I was trying to work out when the last one was actually. But yeah, today it was fantastic. Really good game, really entertaining, some cracking goals, brilliant performance from Fleming. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I was watching on stream, listeners, and like any good Millwall fan, when we it's one thing to go an early goal ahead, John. It's another thing to add to that and go 2-0 ahead. Both superb goals in their different ways. The opening goal was that taken turn, wasn't it, by Zian Fleming? Did you get a good sight of that? Were you looking from the other end, so to speak?
That was the other end, but we were right behind it, and he seemed to hold it up for quite a while in the box, which was, just class. I mean, it's the word I'm going to find myself using a lot about him, to be honest, today. Just class. He just held them off, turned bottom corner. Just like really, really composed finish. Really good.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I mean, I've just been speaking to Harry before the break, and we're careful not to rave too much about him. He looks like a different level of player to what we've been used to at the Den. They come along rarely at Mill, John. That quality of touch. I mean, the opening goal taken and spin and to put it away with that kind of aplomb would normally be the standout moment of the game, but he just carried on adding to it. I mean, the free kick was another well struck. I mean, it's a central position for the free kick for 2-0, wasn't it? But we've still got to put it in the net,
It was, and I was sat with my son next to me and sort of going, is he going top right, top left? And he sort of drilled it along the deck, and the way the goalkeeper went down, I assumed it had taken a a deflection or a nick off someone,
It-
but he
It
just
took the
seems to have-
barest deflection, and it wasn't
Right.
much. Just it maybe gave it an extra angle. I think he went for power and low, and it just touched the Preston one of the wall members of the wall. It didn't deflect it an awful lot, but from what you could see on TV, but it did touch his heel. But if you put enough power, which is really the key to that situation, John. I mean, you know, if it touches, it's going to touch something somewhere along the line. If you get a little bit of luck, it goes in the net, and that's what happened there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh,
Undeniably, his goal. It wasn't a massive deflection.
Oh no,
as you
no,
say,
no.
Even if it,
no,
even
it's
if
the
it
barest. Shut his shoelace practically. You know.
yeah, very well worked.
2-0, 15 minutes in, John, and we're motoring. Any Millwall fan, we put in these, get a cup of tea out, feet up. You know what? You know how it's going to go from here, don't you? You know, no problems.
Yeah.
We're going to see the game out.
Yeah, let's be honest, Nick.
Not
one person in the stand was thinking that at 2-0. 2-0's a dodgy old lead at the best of times. How many sort of 15 minutes in and our lot involved. And Preston sort of that was. Don't want to knock the first half, but they were our two chances in the first half, and then Preston were all over us like a cheap soup for the rest of that half. To be fair, certainly once they scored, it looked like, you know, they were, when it went 2-1, it looked like 2-2 was inevitable, and we just weren't defending particularly well.
No, we didn't.
A couple of goals which would ordinarily be bread and butter to clean up, you know, a couple of crosses and crossing a corner, I think it was. So yeah, 2-2 wasn't a massive surprise, and I was quite glad to get through to half time still level.
Well, they went close. I mean, they've obviously pulled it back. I mean, I think for both goals, John, it seems a bit churlish to talk about defensive errors, but that's what really, I think, in both cases, in their different ways, led to the 2-2. And then we really pretty much clinging on at times as the half closed. They had a good chance late in the half, and on another day that might have gone in. And I think we were just quite glad to get into the dressing room. And to be frank, when the second half started, John, we didn't look much better. I thought we were in for a pounding in the second half.
Certainly had that look, didn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think it would have surprised any of us, but I'm, as I've said to you before, and after the Blackburn game, Nick, I'm on the fence about Gary Rowett. I can't get behind the, you know, he is a bit dull at times, but at the same time, he's got a 6 in the league and has typically got us into the top half of the championship. Yeah. So I can't knock him too much. But what I will say is he bought on Scott Malone. He saw that they were running through the middle of us almost every attack with 4 at the back.
Yeah.
He brought Scott Malone on, changed to a 3 at the back, which had the sort of double effect of giving us a bit more width than we had as well, Nick. And that's where the third goal came from, really. It was, you know, stretching the play a little bit more than previously. Yeah. It sort of seemed to solidify us for 5 minutes, and then we went on the front foot after that.
That third goal was a brilliant move. I mean, there's a wonderful pass from Billy Mitchell to find, I think it was Danny Mack, if memory serves, on the right. But that pass was beautiful. You know, saying to Harry earlier on the YouTube clips, it's the build-up that often gets clipped, but that was a wonderful move, a good cross. Because I didn't think Danny Mack had played that well, if I'm going to be honest with you, John. But he redeemed himself 10 times over with that cross. And talk to me about that finish. That was a wonderful finish. Absolutely.
Yeah. I was expecting him to lever it, to be honest, as soon as it came to him. But he took I'm going to say it, Nick, it was Sheringham-esque. He dropped the shoulder, sold the defender a dummy, and then placed it in the bottom corner where there was no cover. So it was top quality and just class. And you know, it wasn't like he was running the show. It's just that when he got the ball, when he was in possession, that's when his class really showed, and it was.
Absolutely.
I don't know, touch above anything we've watched in the last few years, I would suggest. His consistency is a key, but if he was consistent, he would be playing for us, let's be honest. We've got him because he's a rough diamond, and there's something there that we can develop, and he may get poached in the near future, he may not, but certainly today was one of the better ones.
I agree. I mean, with the benefit of the TV coverage, you might not have seen. I don't know how much you saw of it in live time, but he actually transfers the ball coming in, I think, from the right from Danny Mack, and he puts it from one foot onto the other, and takes out the defender. I mean, it's top quality. We're just not used to seeing it, John. I mean, you know, it's a different level. And then put it away with aplomb for a hat trick. So there we are. There's Ian Fleming, star of the show by some distance today. And then we put the cherry on the cake with that fourth goal, which was also nicely done. That was a cross from Vogelsam, wasn't it? From the left, I think.
And I think, Nick, we needed that. As ridiculous as it sounds, we needed that fourth goal to settle the nerves because, you know, we'd gone 2-0 up in the first half and thrown it away. So
yeah,
that one goal was going to be a shaky old lead. But I think it was about 5-6 minutes after the hat-trick goal. And it was Cresswell doing what Cresswell does. Cresswell was a nuisance at the other end, if you will.
yeah.
I don't know how many he's got this season now, but he's got to be on 4 or 5. I mean,
4 goals. I mean, Fleming leads 8 goals, and I think Cresswell is on 4, so he's our second highest scorer in that sense.
Yeah.
Nicely put away. There's some great clips on social media the club have put out of him celebrating it. I think someone said it looked like Maradona in 1994. Let's hope it wasn't the full Maradona of 1994, but it was certainly great footage of him enjoying the goal. That was it, 4-2. I mean, apart from that, there was nothing much else to report from the match, apart from the fact we've scored 4 goals away from home, John. And you were there to see it, mate.
It was amazing. And I'm really happy for my son as well, Nick, because we're, you know, people aren't aware we live just outside Preston, so he goes to school with a number of Preston fans who have been giving him it all week. You know, we're gonna beat you this, beat you that. So he gets to go to school on Monday and live it up a bit. So I'm delighted for him.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And normally, Nick, I'm at these. I'll let you in on the, let you and the listener in on a bit of into the production room of this stuff, Nick. Normally, I'm sitting at these drab 1-0 defeats or 0-0 draws, and I have to make a note or two on the phone to cover my thoughts and make sure I don't forget anything dreary in the course of the game. Today's notes were Fleming 2-0 free kick, World Cup squad, ? 2-1, Messi corner. 2-2, another ball into the box we haven't worked out. Half time, defence shit, really vulnerable. They're running straight through us. 3-2, Fleming hat trick. What a calm finish. 4-2, 4 goals away. So in note form, Nick, I
think you've summed it all up there, John. That's brilliant. I couldn't put it any better because it was such a mixture of emotions. Hats off to everyone that went up there today. 700 apparently made the journey up, and a difficult journey back to London. The support came over loud and clear for everyone that went there today. Well done to you too, John. That's a very pithy summary. I can't really beat that.
I really enjoyed it.
Oh dear! So now we sit in 6th spot going into another enforced break. I mean, so Harry made the point about Forest away in 2020 when we had the COVID shutdown straight after a really good away performance, and I suppose we've got something similar now. But it does give a nice base. With a limited break, and 3 weeks, and we'll be back again at league action.
Do you know what, Nick? It might be the afterglow of an away win, but I'm looking at this with ridiculous optimism now. We're a second half of the season team. I think we can all concede that. I can't remember us being this high in the championship at this stage of the season before. No. And if we go to type, because all of our players aren't going to be involved in anything, you know, over the next 3-4 weeks. They'll all get a good rest if they can come back nice and fresh and kick on in the second half of the season as we typically do. Could be the year we make the playoffs, Nick.
The Rowett train may well be rolling there, John. I agree. It's hard not to get caught up in this giddy optimism. All it will take is one drab performance and we're back in misery street.
Yeah,
we'll go to Sunderland and balls it up.
I just look at the league, Nick, and I don't think anyone's any good. I think
it's all much of a muchness. I think that's going to be our secret weapon, and probably includes us to some extent because, you know, we've all lived through some. I mean, we've only just come off the back of 270 minutes of not scoring a goal, but here we're going to hit 4 fairly tough opponents in Preston. Actually, they're a decent run at home. So yeah, I mean, I think the division is wide open, which leaves you the question: if not, you know, why not? Why can't we do it? We just need to We just need to find the right tactics for the right situation. I also want to mention before we close, John, Gary Rowett. He gets slagged and he gets slaughtered, and he has been rightly over the course of the season with some of what we've watched. But today, that substitution and the commentary team, Carl and Max, said there was a change of formation to tighten it up. That was a game turner. Got praise where it's due. And well done, Gary Rowett.
Absolutely.
I think today.
Yeah, well done, Will.
John, I'm going to let you have your Saturday night back, mate. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Well done, and let's keep our fingers crossed for the post-World Cup return of league football. Big thank you, John Shipman.
Hello.
So, just walking away from Deepdale, James Blewett, Millwall halfway line here. What a game! What a game! It was, topsy-turvy is the old cliche, but it was, I thought we started really brightly, but to be honest, the 2-0 lead we took I thought was quite flattering. I thought they made really bad defensive mistakes, but, Fleming's a class player and he took them very, very well. But then when, Preston came back and got 2-2, I thought, bloody hell, we're going to be on the ropes here and we're not going to see this through. And I thought we were going to lose it in the second half, to be honest. But actually the team came through really well. And the 4-2 in the end didn't flatter us. But what a game. What a game. What a shame we've got to wait another month before we have some proper football back. But, really good display. Obviously Fleming's the man of the match, but really good displays I thought by Billy Mitchell and Saville in midfield, and I thought the defence looked really solid as well.
Hi Nick, Matt Richards here, just calling in after that game. Wow, what a great result, what an amazing result. Fleming masterclass, Rowett masterclass, but what an up and down game. Great start, and first goal Fleming, great finish. Second one, and then they were just all over us. And it's poor defending, obviously. Long as it's got to be questioned for both of those goals. Really, I thought he definitely, he came off. He should have got the cross. I don't think he was fouled for the first one. He was wrong-footed, flat-footed for the second. But and then the second half, they're all over us, and we were making mistakes and sloppy passing, and you're just thinking, oh my God, it's. You can only see one result, and Rowett called it right, didn't he? Really, just because we go to 5 at the back doesn't mean to say that we're going to be solid, because we know we haven't been solid this year playing 5 at the back. But it just clicked, didn't it? Third goal was brilliant. Vogelsammer, I think, what a great challenge in the centre of the pitch, and Billy Mitchell, obviously, brilliant ball. Danny, for once, he gets a great cross in. And, the composure and the class of Zian was just absolutely amazing. He just, where everybody else is just kind of, will just panic, he's the only player we've got who would have finished like that, without a shadow of doubt. Anybody else would just try and hit it first time, but what a finish. And then the fourth goal, straight after, I think that's what killed Preston. That was a sucker punch. Vogelsammer called him for the short one. Great ball in. He's got a great cross on him, Vogelsammer, and really pleased for Creswell. He's been playing well. He gave a couple of sloppy passes today, but fair play. He's been playing well since he came in for Hutch, and he deserved that goal. And then after that, Preston just gave up, didn't they? That is what a result. It's top 6. Going to the World Cup break. What more can you ask for, really? I think it's really positive. What may come in, say, the transfer window, who knows? And this could be the incentive for Belson to maybe spend a bit more money, maybe get some wingers in, because we're lacking some natural width in the team. But aside from that, I think the future is just really positive. So you've got to take that. So great result, fair play to, and well supported by all the 600 odd fans that went up there. Hope you had a good, decent journey back, because I heard there's some train cancellations. But you did great support, and you deserve that performance as well. So well done to the fans. Well done to Millwall. Come on your lines.
Hi Nick, John Rankin here, just ringing in with post-match thoughts on the Millwall victory up at Deepdale. Preston North End 2, Millwall 4. In a state of shell shock, really. We were 2 goals up with 17 minutes gone, and it was very much a Zian Fleming show. What a player he is. I just want to talk about Zian briefly. The first goal that he scored convinced me what a class player he is, because Preston are very, very strong defensively. They're above us in the table. They've got a very well organised, hard defence with an unenviable record at not letting goals in. And he gave himself so much time right in the middle of the box. And that is a sign of a class player. He looked as though he had all the time in the world. And any player that can do that, he had 2 men on him. And another man come running in towards him to take the ball off him. He used him as a kind of leverage and moved the ball past him, leaned back and into the bottom corner, and it looked like it was a training goal, to be honest with you. Such was the presence of mind and time that Fleming gave himself. The second goal that he scored, a really well-worked free kick. George Honeyman standing proud of the wall, caused some confusion, but the goal's still got to be drilled down low. And Zian Fleming's third goal was just a masterclass. It reminded me, without eulogising too much, of the kind of the kind of sort of composure is the word they use now that Johan Cruyff used to show. You know, you'd think he'd just flash at it with his foot and score a goal, but no, he took it down, dummied the player that was near him, and he just gave himself a virtual open net just to calmly put the ball into. Absolute quality and a real Dutch masterclass there. That's the sort of goals that these really technically gifted Dutch players seem to score. He reminded me of Bergkamp, Cruyff, Van Nistelrooy, all those kind of players, that tradition of being really calm and scoring classy goals. Absolutely brilliant. With regards to the match, 2-0 up after 17 minutes, and I thought, Preston really, you got to give it to them. Preston really came back strong to score their 2 goals. The first goal, I think, could have been given as a foul on George Long or even a handball. It was, a very, very soft goal for us to give away, and I thought we got the wrong end of the decision there from the referee to let that goal through. The second goal that came, well, it was 2 players which I'm amazed that Preston North End took off in the second half. Brady, number 11, and Ched Evans. And Brady was giving McNamara a hell of a time. Preston North End were playing with the wing backs, and Brady was just pulling McNamara all over the place. And I don't think it was really McNamara's fault. It was just the way the game panned out. Danny Mac really, stuck at the task and came good in the second half, I thought. But that first half, it was dominated by Brady and Evans. And Preston could have been 3-2 up. Evans scored after his second goal, a similar move, a beautiful left-footed crossing deep by Brady, and I thought the ball had gone in the net and it just went the other side of the post. So we scraped through to half-time. Second half, Preston right on the front foot, and we just sort of rode our luck. And then Rowett makes the change of bringing Scott Malone on, and we dropped 5 at the back. And on this occasion, I think it worked. It broke play up. Billy Mitchell was just awesome today. I think if Billy hadn't been playing and we'd gone 5 at the back, I think we would have lost, because that 5 at the back system let so many players come through the middle, and Preston were just cutting through us at times, but we held firm. And then the game just turned on its head with Zian Fleming's third goal. A long ball, beautiful pass by Billy Mitchell, on the counter-attack. Danny Mac did ever so well, cut it back from the dead ball line, went past 2 Preston defenders, and the rest is history. Absolutely fantastic goal. And the fourth goal, again, Vogel Slammer, who I rate very highly, does so much work. He set up Fleming's first goal, and he set up the fourth goal as well, and Cresswell nodded in at the far post, and I think that was Preston's race run, really. They took, as I say, Brady and Evans off and brought some other players on, but we did the job. So fantastic victory away from home. I'm still in a state of shell shock. What a player we've got in Zian Fleming. As I said in earlier podcasts, really, you build the team around a player like him, and I think we're finally sort of finding out what our best formation is up front. Yeah, we are. I still think we got to work ourselves out a little bit defensively. There were a couple of scary moments, but we've got Sean Hutchinson and Ryan Leonard ready to come back. So I think it's looking positive. Come on, you Lions.
Achtung, Millwall.